Hey everybody, Zombie Soundwave here, and today I just wanted to talk about the new update to Fortnite, the Simpsons stuff. I just kind of wanted to break down some of my early thoughts on it, some different things that I'm enjoying about it, and just about some different things. So, to begin with, I just want to start out, I've been streaming the new season over on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Zombie Soundwave, so please consider coming over, following, so you know when I'm live and when I'm streaming and stuff like that. And it's just chill streams usually, so if you just feel like coming over, hanging out, watching, doing a little chatting, whatever, it's pretty just chill. So consider coming over, checking that content out. I stream most days, so I stream for a couple hours usually. So to get into it, let's dive into the new Simpsons season. I wanted to let you all know that I'm enjoying it so far. I think it's pretty fun. I didn't know how I was going to feel about the whole cell shaded map, but honestly, I think the developers have done a wonderful job making the cell shading, interesting and making things stand out. Surprisingly, it's giving me a lot of, kind of old Fortnite vibes, because I saw a lot of people, being kind of sad that this wasn't going to be on the, Chapter 3 map, and, be more kind of like a throwback season, similar to how we've had them in the past few years with the Chapter 1 and the Chapter 2 remakes. But honestly, this map, the whole Springfield map, has kind of still given me that kind of vibe. It definitely feels old Fortnite to me. I think some of that might be the loot pool too, like the old pistol, and some different, aspects like the striker still feeling kind of like an old AR and stuff like that. But I don't know. I've been enjoying it so far. I've been having a lot of fun. I don't have a whole lot of complaints about this map. Obviously, I do kind of feel like we had kind of a lackluster event a bit. I know that there's a bigger event at the end of this month that's going to really be the end of this chapter. So, I'm holding out hope that there's some good storytelling there and that, we finally get some stuff with that. I am considering doing maybe a video where I talk about the future of Fortnite and talk about what I want to see out of an event like that, and what I want to see out maybe next season. I don't know if those will be two separate videos or if that'll just be one, depending on how much content I have to cover there. But I think that would be neat. I'd just like to see them actually tell some compelling storytelling. Obviously, in recent times I feel like we've been getting closer to the storytelling that I was hoping for, but since Don Lester had left, we hadn't seen a ton of storytelling taking place, forward momentum kind of thing. I do think in recent months, especially this kind of last chapter, maybe the end of the previous chapter, chapter 5, we were actually starting to, see a little bit more, give into the story again. So I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that chapter 7 is interesting. I don't really have any, strong faith, that I can point to, oh, this has been good, so that'll be better. I mean, I think this chapter has been better in its storytelling. I think there's been more going on. I think even though I'd like to see more done with it, Hope and the Vengeance Jonesy have been at least compelling characters to some extent, and they've been a good, embodiment of the world to kind of push the story forward. So, I don't know. I'm hopeful that chapter 7 does something cool. This demon thing that is coming through the portal is interesting. Hopefully there's something there. But getting back to the, actual Simpsons season, I think everything about it's been cool. One of the things that I especially have really enjoyed about it has been the mission structure, how many quests that we've just had, coming out of the gate with so much to do has been nice. I'm actually using grocery bags to be able to start missions that reward you with loot. I just think that's a nice, compelling way of incentivizing players to actually do challenges on the map and get stuff done. I'd like to see that maybe continue forward, maybe even get rewards for doing stuff like that if you do enough of them across the map over a season or something. I think that's a neat way to just kind of change up gameplay and to offer people ways to take on things to get more guaranteed loot drops, because I do think Fortnite's not one of the worst games about it. I think their Battle Royale has always been pretty good about, giving you loot. I know that there have been some complaints like recently that loot was getting a little too over the top. Like I know like they did like some updates recently where they were kind of reining in the loot to try to kind of bring like some scarcity back to the game, because people were kind of going after the same loot every round and kind of stacking up the same items. I think they were kind of trying to expand the loot pool to add more weapons from previous like chapters and seasons into the game to kind of promote a wider, loot pool, which I think is great. Like, I think for the Simpsons season, obviously, they've kind of shrunk the loot pool again, but I think that works for a season like this. So yeah, I think for a season that's on the smaller side, we only have a month. It's kind of a more specific, chapter, or not even chapter, sorry, season, or event even, not even, I guess, a full season. Where I think, you kind of have to have certain limits on things, plus they're trying to probably fit it into a world where they're trying to, make this all kind of work in the time that's allotted, plus like story elements, trying to fit probably the vibe of Simpsons. I'm sure they have probably licensing agreements, all kinds of the different factors that probably prevent them from using certain things, doing other certain things. They just want to have this probably be its own kind of vibe anyway, just like with Fortnite on their own. So I'm not really too worried about the loot pool. I'm sure they'll add stuff probably over time too. I am excited about what the season has been so far. Simpsons for me is something that, like, I obviously know the Simpsons. I've watched Simpsons episodes. I'm kind of a passive Simpsons fan though. It's not something that's super ingrained into like me. I'm sure that there are people that are much bigger Simpsons fans than I am, like easily. But I appreciate it. I appreciate what The Simpsons is. I've enjoyed, Simpsons here and there. So this has been a pretty cool season for me. I know the implications of it. I know that there are going to be people that are very excited about this. And I, so far, have found it really fun. I honestly, and this is probably the highest praise that I'm going to give this season, I've enjoyed it so far, I think, more than I enjoyed last season. And this is still early. This is something that I guess could change. But even early in last season, I feel like I really kind of fell out of love with that season pretty fast. I really thought that I would enjoy the bugs and the whole kind of Helldivers slash, Super Trooper, not Super Trooper. Space Troopers vibe of the season. But honestly, I didn't really feel personally like the bugs worked very well. I kind of thought it just kind of disrupted gameplay for me personally. I found that I just wasn't dropping a lot in areas like that typically. And not even like difficulty wise, I guess I just didn't find that gameplay that compelling. I'm more excited, I guess, to see like more stuff done with those resources in like, the UEFN stuff, because like I'm just more interested in seeing like what people do like on the creative side with like those bugs and those mechanics and some of those weapons. I just I didn't really find it that interesting like for the actual battle royale. I just didn't really feel like it flowed well. I played a lot of Blitz and other stuff during that time, and OG and stuff. I just didn't really love that map, like the way the map worked with the bugs. So I don't know. And again, if you really enjoyed that, I'm not really even talking poorly about it, because again, I don't think they did something wrong with it. It just wasn't for me for some reason. I'm shocked because I was really excited about what that was when it was coming out. So I don't know. But overall, I think the Simpsons map is pretty good. I'm excited. This is going to be a good month-long map. I don't have a whole lot of complaints about it. I think the cell shading is surprisingly working very well for the map, and giving me kind of vibes of old Fortnite and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see, what comes out of all of this. I'm excited to see what the event is at the end of the month. I am kind of planning on maybe doing some videos about what I want to see out of the future of Fortnite and this event. So if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments if that's something you might like to see. Just like this video and have enjoyed what I'm talking about, go ahead and hit that like button. And I will see you all in the next one. Consider subscribing so you don't miss out on any of those future videos. And I will catch you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.